Coach, another season's upon us right now. We're less than a month away, or about a month away from the actual season starting. How does it feel?
Well, we are exactly 4 weeks away from practice starting. To answer that question, we talked about that this morning. 4 weeks from today, we'll be into our first practice. I don't call it two-a-days anymore because, for those of us that go through spring ball, we got the 4 days of non-contact. Everything's walked through after that first practice. We will have 1 2-a-day practice on Friday, our first day in pads, and that's it. Everything else for us is just one practice and walkthroughs. But, I'm at a point right now, Jake, that, I'm like every other coach in the United States of America. If we stay healthy, we feel like we're going to be pretty dadgum good. But, after this summer with our 7-on-7, with our summer conditioning program, with what we've seen out of spring practice, we feel, real good about our team next year. And we know we're in a tough district, Jake. You got Sharyland there and Sharyland. I know they lost a lot of seniors. I know they've lost some kids to Pioneer. Edinburgh Vela has proven to be one of the top teams in the district, in the valley. You got Roma that's got that outstanding junior class, and they got a playoff win under their belt. And Rio and Valley View. I mean, everything is dangerous. Pioneer got great athletes over there. So, we're very cautiously optimistic would be the word I got for you, man, because we feel good about who we are. We feel good about what we feel like we're capable of doing, but we also understand, man, the road that we got in front of us.
Now, Coach, that's one thing. We're talking about health. Your team has been snake bit the last couple of years because you guys have been hit with the injury bug. Quarterback position. Yeah, and it's
frustrating, Jake, because we feel like if we line up on the field with our top guys on the field, we're competitive with most people. But when you take your top kids and you put them on the sideline and they're not out there, obviously it's going to hamstring your team. But that's everybody, and that's not an excuse. We're like everybody else, man. We preach the next man up concept, and that's something that we've got to do. That second stringer, that third stringer's got to be able to come in and perform at the same level as our starters do. And we preach it year round: next man up, next man up, next man up. And but at the end of the day, it should be nice to have our frontline guys out there.
I imagine. Now, you said next man up. Who are those next men up? Who are you counting on this year?
Well, let's look at our 7-on-7 group. Let's look at our offensive skill positions. And we're extremely confident in what we've got there with Diego Hernandez at quarterback, with Adam Solis, Bobby Tovar, Jacob Guerrero, and Roman De Leon at receiver. We've got Buda Gonzalez and Johnny Martinez at running back. Our skill positions, we feel are, I don't know how we stack up with the state or anything like that, but we certainly feel we're as good as anybody in the district at our skill positions, which means, our offensive line's got to perform for us to be able to do the things that we want to do. Defensively, we got all-state kids back at safety, at middle linebacker with Hugo Cabrera and Kevin Libano. Our secondaries performed very well this summer throughout the 7-on-7 and through spring ball. Adrian Martinez has done a great job out there. Christian Anguiano, Matthew Guerrero. We've got good pieces in place, Jake. We do, man. And, I don't want to say we have to stay healthy to win because I feel like the next man up concept will keep us competitive. But, again, I go back to, boy, if we can line up our top 11 on offense and our top 11 on defense, we feel like, we've got a shot to be in the mix in our district. And in our district, I can't speak for all the districts across the valley and across the state, but, I think 31-5A is a tough district without a doubt.
Now, as far as the district, Vela's, looks like they're going to have a new offense coordinator there.
Right.
New quarterback, it looks like.
Right.
How does your team, address those things? I mean, I know you go game, you're looking at week 1 or week 0,
right.
Depending on how old you are. But, what do you guys do? I know most coaches say they don't look at but the game in front of them. But, looking at the district, how do you see it forming?
I got you. Well, week 0 for me. I'm 25 years in this profession, and so week 0 is still common terminology, and I'm trying to get used to the week 1. So, depending on how old you are, like you said, it's week 0 for me, but it will be week 1, and it's easy for us to get our focus. We're playing Mission right off the bat. You know, August 28th, we go into Tom Landry Stadium, and we get our sister school in town, and that's always a big rivalry game. You know, there's 10 to 13,000 people in the stands, and it's an exciting time for us. But, you know, I'm like everybody else. I've got to look at our district. I've got to see where we stand. And, you know, if I had to put it out there, you know, I think right now Edinburgh Vela is probably the top dog, though you certainly cannot overlook Sherryland with what they've done the last 3 years. You know, Ron's done a great job at Sherryland. And, you know, I know graduation and the split has hurt them. I understand that. But until somebody knocks them off, you know, those guys are right there. You know, I think we're right in the mix. Ron, you know, we talked about, Jake, we talked about Edinburgh Vela and what they do and a change in offensive coordinator. And, you know, I know Pedraza's moved over from Memorial. I know they've got some other kids in the mix there. Here's the beauty about Edinburgh Vela. We played them in week 10. So we don't have to, game plan for them right now. We don't have to scheme for them. We don't have to think about them. You know, our only thought with Edinburgh Vela is we hope to get to week 10 and play them for a district championship. That's our plan right now. And we'll let the chips fall where we may. I know that's a very good team. I know Mike does a great job with his program, and you know I got a tremendous amount of respect for what they're doing. But we open with Sherryland, and we close with Edinburgh Vela, same as last year. And those were our 2 losses in district, and that's something we have to address as a staff. I've got to address as a head coach because those are teams that if we want to be the top dog, if we want to call ourselves champions, district champions, we've got to beat those teams. And it's certainly not an easy chore. And then you throw Roma into the mix. You throw Sherryland Pioneer into the mix. You know, Carlos is going to do a good job out there. Rio and this, you know, and then you got Carlos Sainz over at Valley View. And I know they're changing offensive schemes. And, you know, there's just not too many weeks off in our district. And then, you know, with us having Permian in our non-district schedule, with us having PSG North, who I think is going to be one of the top teams in our district, with us opening with our rivalry game against Mission. You know, Mission struggled a little bit last year overall, but it was 14-7 with us. And, you know, and we were an 8-4 ball club, Jake, and, you know, we lost 4 games, and 3 of the games that we lost were in the 3rd round of the playoffs, Permian, Sherryland, and Flower Bluff. And our 4th loss was Edinburgh Vela, which was in the 2nd round of the playoffs. So, you know, we've got a tough schedule. We've got Waters Lincoln in the mix, which is a 6A program. And, you know, I mean, it's just, there's no easy games for us right now, and that's the way I like it. You've talked to me enough to know that, you know, if we can line up and play somebody in the parking lot at H-E-B or Burger King, we're going to do it. And, you know, we're not going to back down from anybody, and we're not going to back down from a challenge. And fortunately, we've got that mentality because we do have a very challenging schedule.
So, you know, speaking of Permian, your non-district schedule, you know, when you play a team like Permian, even Mission, you know, health is, you know, one of those things you want to get through those games pretty healthy because,
right.
District
we're not in the district play yet.
Yeah, like what do you have to do in those games? Because do you almost say we're going to keep the starters in, and then, you know, if it gets out of hand?
Nah, we're gonna play to win every football game we're in, Jake. I don't care if we're playing Odessa Permian or we're playing last year's state champion or we're playing Acadie. We're going to play to win every football game, and we're going to keep our starters in. And we're going to play. I'm like every other head coach in the nation. I'd like to play everybody every game, but at the varsity level, that's not going to occur. And, you know, we're going to put an Odessa Permian on our schedule. You know, we're going to play a sister school like Mission. We're going to play those types of games in our non-district schedule. We're going to play to win. If it means playing our starters for 4 quarters, 5 quarters, 6 quarters, it does not matter. You know, that's what we're all about. And if we were to lose a kid to an injury somewhere along the line, well, that's part of the game that we play and that we love, and, you know, we'll deal with that and get the next man up going.
Well, I appreciate it, Coach. You know, great way to end the interview, and, you know, best of luck this season.
I appreciate it, Jake. Thank you, man.
All right, thanks, Coach.